Hi there! It's DEPHEMEREMBER day 5. I'm so happy you tuned in again. And today we have another prompt I am super excited about. It concerns buttons, which is my favorite type of embellishment. As you know by now, this is a collaboration with Luise Heinzl, and this is Barbara from Vienna, Austria. As always, you can find this list linked below in the description box if you have not downloaded it by now. We do hope you are having fun following our prompts. And today's is coffee and a button card. How fun is that? I'm not sure I've ever made my own button card, so this is going to be super fun. And if we have a button card, we obviously need buttons. But let's get this out of the way. Number 5 is up here. It's another bag of gummies, and this time we have some Coke bottles. Happy Cola. So in the meantime, I figured out that Luise posts her daily videos at 6 p.m. Central European time, while I post mine at 4:45 in the morning Central European time. So that means hers are posted approximately 13 hours after mine. So that means when you watch mine, it's probably best to watch hers from the day before. So just be sure to always check the playlist linked below, and also check the playlist for all the other artists that are participating. There's a separate playlist for those as well. Let's get into it. Let's make some buttons. By the way, Luise has a fabulous video on making your own buttons. She uses book pages. They are super adorable. I will find that video and link that for you as well, but I'm super curious what she's going to do this time. So what do we need to make buttons? First of all, we need some cardstock, something like this. I have already made some buttons last night, and I used just some packaging. This is some very nice chocolate, 85%. You can use any packaging. I've also used other food boxes, like cereal boxes are great, pizza boxes are great, whatever you have. And then it's very helpful if you have some punches, but it's not totally necessary to make these. So always handy. And of course, the classic shape for a button would be a round one. This is a 1-inch punch. But then I thought, well, who says that the buttons have to be round? We can also have some heart-shaped buttons, and we can also have some star-shaped buttons. If you do not have any punches, then just as I said previously, whenever you need round images, you can of course just take a cap of something and trace it. That will do the trick just as well. But I'd say that if you're into paper crafting and you haven't purchased anything yet, a round paper punch is like one of the things I would say definitely is worth getting, even getting in different sizes. So a smaller one and a larger one, because that will help you in so many ways in your crafting, and they are cheap. You can even get them secondhand if you want. They're not expensive. This, of course, then is on top, but this one I would really get if you don't have one yet. Then we need to make the buttonholes. So we need either some kind of a pokey tool like this, or if you have a punch would be very good for this with a smaller hole. This is still a bit big for buttonholes, but it works. I've tried that. So something like this is helpful, but again, a pokey tool will do the trick as well. Then we need some glue, and we need some kind of decorative paper or paint or something with what you could color some paper, or book pages, you know, just something that you can put as a top layer. So what I have been doing, first of all, I'll cut straight so I can easily punch out some more shapes. There, so that's better. So let's do the classical ones. And how many layers you glue together depends on, first of all, how thick your cardboard is, and also how thick you want your button to be. I have found out from this particular cardboard, and it is really quite thin, I need 3 to have the thickness that I want. So I'm just gonna punch these out 3 times, and let's do the stars as well. 1, 2, 3. And this is one of the times where I would say glue stick is better than liquid glue. I have tried both last night, and the issue with the liquid glue, although it of course works, is that it, first of all, it squishes out a lot more on the sides. And second of all, it's harder to position the elements precisely on top of each other because they move a lot more with the liquid glue. So this is definitely easier, and it holds well enough for this craft. So here I have 3 round pieces together now. Now I'll do the same for the stars. It is so much fun to make your own buttons. I made some last night, as I said. It was already like midnight and I knew I should go to bed, but I couldn't stop. I was just having so much fun. The first video I ever saw on making buttons was like 3 years ago, and it was a video which is now 9 years ago, which seems unbelievable. And it was from Jenny Belly. She was the one that got me into junk journaling. My style was very different at first, and I will always love her for being that person for me. And she has been missing for the last, I don't know, 1.5 to 2 years. She was not present on YouTube, and she's back since a few weeks. Actually, since now maybe like almost 2 months or so. So if you enjoyed Jelly Belly, maybe you want to check out her channel again. I will link it below. Okay, so we have our 2 little buttons. And of course, they don't look nice yet. And as I said, I made a few more last night so that we have some more to play with. And I also have some that are already completely finished, which are these. How cute are these? I am so in love with them. And I will show you how I made these, and we'll make a few more today. What I used as decorative paper was some paper strips that I had left over from my folio project using my on the desk printables. And I had all these strips that were left from covering the envelopes of the folio. So I just took my punches and I punched out some bits wherever I saw that something might look interesting. So this is really great to use some of your scraps, whether it's digitals or whether it's some scrapbook paper, or you can use magazine pages, book pages. There's so many things you can just add on top to decorate your little buttons. I just now happened to see this scrap in my paper scrap box, and this is perfect because we can definitely make something out of these. So we see these cute flowers. And let's just cut this. I think this would be a super cute button. So there's one. Then let's do another heart-shaped one. Or maybe let's do the star first. And then let's see if we can get a heart shape. Yep. We can, of course, also take a scrap of coffee dyed paper and take a stamp and then use that. Let's see if we can make a cute button out of this little bee here. So the round one would be like this. That would definitely work. What about this heart one? Ooh, the heart one is even better because that works better with this shape. Love that. And if you're not sure which stamps or images will work, what you could easily do is, since we have now the frame of the heart, we can just put it over the stamps and see how it would look like if we tried that. So none of these really work here. I have been gifted this beautiful little book of wildflowers. Here's the ISBN number in case you want to look this one up. It seems to be from the UK. And for something like this, it is perfect because it has small images. And this is exactly what we need. So let's see if I can find something that will work. These I'm sure would work. Let's check it with our template. So yeah, that would be, oh, how cute is this? I love this. Yep. So let's do that. Okay, we have all the hearts. Let's see if we can get another one out of this. A round one. Yep, perfect. And I can even get a little star one still out of this one. Okay, I need 2 more star images and 2 more round images. Here's another book I have that has also some really small images in it. This is again one of those where I cannot see any ISBN numbers, so I will just show you this in case you want to look for this. So obviously these are all German since I am in Austria. Look, it has all these really tiny images. How fun are these? It also has larger images. Mushrooms, birds, plants, even small butterflies. Let me try that butterfly. So if we take our template, yep, the round one is perfect. There's a little butterfly. And we have these little flowers. If I check my template, I can see that I can even get one of these flowers with the name in it into one of these stars. Oh, one more tip. If your punch ever gets jammed, this has happened to me a few times, especially with this one. So what can happen is you punch a page, especially if it's a bit thin, and then it just gets stuck like this. Don't throw it away. What really helps is you take something, like I usually do it with my scissors. I don't even have a sister. And I just bang it really hard into the punch, so in the middle here. So I just go like that once, and usually that will release it. So that's an easy way to fix a jammed punch. So I just need one more star-shaped one, and I think I'm going to go with this stork here. And remember how we made these tickets yesterday? You can use, of course, the same base to just punch out some buttons. So there's multiple purposes, of course, for bases like this. You just put in the effort once and then you can use it for several projects, which I think is great. So now all we need to do is to glue our images onto the rest of the layers. Just make sure they are lined up. And we do that for all the images. And one more thing also, if you don't find like original images in books, if you don't have books, maybe if you are a member of the Digital Collage Club, I know Tina has lots of small images, lots of small round images actually, which you could print at an even smaller percentage on your printer and then use those for buttons. That's another option. You can, of course, also check the Biodiversity Heritage site and Pixabay. Those are both free sites. I will link those again for you below. Nothing wrong with using digitals, especially if you don't have access to original books. But if you do have a thrift store or a garage sale or anything like that near you, secondhand store, if you're able to, go check it out, because it's always fun to look for these vintage books, of course. Once we have everything glued down, we need to make our holes. And it is helpful to have a button which is a similar size to the buttons we are making, because then we can just trace the holes. So I can just put it here and put a pencil or a pen even through the holes to mark where I need to put the holes. If you don't have a button with big enough holes, then you can just eyeball it, but this is a bit easier, I have found. What would also work as a punch is if you have one of those punches you use for punching holes in leather, like for belts. That one should work really well for this. So I'm going to use this one. As I said, it's a little bit big, the holes, but it's what I have. So I'm going to use this. There we go. Once I have all the holes in, I like to vintage mine up, of course. I'm going to use my vintage photo. Again, this is optional. Obviously, I just kind of like the vintage look it gives them. So I'm going to do that for all of these. I think that completely changes the look. I personally like my buttons matte, but if you want yours glossy, you can either put something like glossy accents or some kind of glossy varnish or glossy Mod Podge on it, or even emboss them. You could just leave them as they are. And what I did with these here, I edged them with my gilding wax. So you can either do that, or you can edge them with some watercolor or acrylic paint, or even a marker. Let's try it with one of these metallic markers. I don't know how well you can see that. Yeah. Let's try permanent marker. This is a black one. I've kind of ruined the tip, but it still works for this. Yeah, so that works as well. If you want to make it black, that's pretty cool. I don't know if I've mentioned acrylic paints. They would work great. Yeah, so that looks cool as well. Totally different look. But I think my favorite are still the ones with the gold edge. Let's try some distress ink. I have here Forest Moss, and I have one of these little sponge finger daubers. You can find these on Amazon. Oh, wow. That gives it a really dark edge. That's really cool as well. Do you see that? Wow. Didn't expect that to work that well. Very nice. This one came out a little bit lighter for some reason. I used the same distress ink. Here's our little bee. This would also work with a makeup sponge, so you don't have to buy these. I know Tim Holtz has them. They're fairly expensive. I got mine locally. Teddy, I think, has them, and they were super cheap. So I think we're gonna go over this again. This was the one we did with the gold metallic marker, but I think I want the edge defined a little bit more. Loving this Forest Moss. I've done, I think, pretty much all of them now with the Forest Moss. How beautiful. So now that we have all of these fabulous buttons, we need to make a button card to put them on. You can just use any type of scrapbook paper, cardstock, anything you have. I think what I'm going to do is, I have these playing cards. They have been gifted to me. So I like these sides, but I don't like this side. So I think this is a great opportunity to cover them up. So let's make 2 of these. So this side I'm going to keep, this I'm going to cover up, and I'm going to just choose a paper from a paper pad to cover these. I love this one. This is from Action. Got it a long time ago, so they don't have it anymore. Oh, I think this is a great design for a button card. I don't know why, that just screams button card to me. And then the second one, maybe we'll do different color. I'm just also thinking what will work with my buttons. And of course, my nature theme. I have an urban nature theme going on. Ooh, this is perfect. So I'm just going to cover these. I've inked up my edges with Vintage Photo. So that's the back side. And now, of course, we have to add our coffee elements. So I again have some instant coffee here. And this is perfect for just making it look a little bit more vintage. So I am simply going to add a few drops. And that takes care of the coffee element. Maybe add some here on the edge a little bit. So this is what they look like when they are dry. One thing I want to add on both of these is the word buttons. Since this is a button card, I'm going to use my clickable alphabet stamps. I will link a similar set for you below. I love these a lot. I've used them a lot. So if I was looking for a stamp set with an alphabet, I would get this one. Some of the letters are double. Thankfully, the T is double. And once you put it all together, you realize buttons is quite a long word. The cool thing with these is that you can also stack them vertically. So I could try that actually. Maybe that's better. If you are in the US, I bought these at Michael's. So maybe you can still find them there. That's also quite long, but it would be doable. But I think I like the other version better. And because I want to make everything look a little bit more grungy and everything, I'm going to actually stamp it on a piece of a tea bag. So this is from a chamomile tea that I had yesterday. Going to use my black archival ink. Yep, that worked well. Let's do it one more time. And now I'm going to take my tearing ruler to tear around this. Don't want to have straight edges. I tore into it. No. We can still salvage that. I do also want to add some other decorations on these, and I'm going to be a bit lazy because I already have some that I think will work, although they are quite big. I have these two, and I've made these two in a video, which I will link for you below. So you can check that out if you want to see how I make these and a few other of this type of embellishments. They are super handy to have on hand. For example, now they are just perfect. They fit my theme perfectly. And I actually want to add them so that they kind of go over the edge of the card. I think that looks pretty cool. So one here and one maybe like this. And then we still need to fit the button thing. I think now they only will work on the bottom because there's not enough space on the top. We could, of course, put it sideways too. That might work for this one. So maybe one like this, one like this. And then we need to see how to arrange the buttons. One I want with the gold and one I want with the green moss. I think I'll do the gold on these here. So now I just have to see how I want to arrange them and which ones do I want. I don't think I want to vary them. I think I want the same ones, like the same kind. So for example, we could put the stars here. One. Or maybe we put 3 stars like that. Yes, I like that a lot. And on this one, that's tricky because the space is kind of weird that we have. So we've used stars. We don't want to use stars anymore. Why don't we use some round elements? Let me try that. So we have a butterfly. We have this buttercup. Not sure how this is gonna work. Oh, and these have different edges. Nope, don't like that. I want them to be the same. There goes my perfectionism again. So I could use 3 hearts. So we have the bee, we have our little flower, and we have the other flowers. Do we like that? Yeah, why not? That's cute. So I'm going to glue these elements on using my 3-in-1 glue, but I am going to actually sew these buttons on. Using a glue stick for the tea bag, and I've completely destroyed this now. But let's see if we can, let's see if we can still fix it. Yes, we can. Of course we can. Can always fix everything. And now I'm going to mark where my holes need to be for the buttons. And I'm going to have to use an awl because my punch won't be able to reach that far in. So I'm going to use my piece of styrofoam to put underneath, and then I'll just punch right through. Then I'm going to choose an embroidery thread for them. So I think for this one, I'm going to take this very light, like ice blue. And for this one, maybe some like mossy green. No, maybe not. Oh, this one's nice. Okay. And I've gotten questions about this box. This is just a tea box. I did find this locally, but you can probably find something like this on Amazon. I think it's really cute to keep your embroidery thread. And I did cut all of these manually, actually. Even though I do have a die, but I like this shape better, so I just cut them manually. That was a lot of work. Either I could sew these buttons in by tying a bow on the top, or I'm gonna choose an even easier version. I'm just gonna go in from the bottom. And then in the back, I'll just tie a knot. And that's it. I think I'll go around it twice so that we see the thread a bit better. Just like that. And then I just make a double knot in the back, and that's it. Just like that. So here's my 2 cards. I think they're adorable, to be honest. I can't even tell you how much fun I'm having with these daily projects. I really hope you're trying at least some of these prompts if you have time. I know December is busy for everyone, but these are just so much fun, and I can't wait to put them all into a journal. On this one, I think I want to add some gold edging as well, since the buttons have that. Again, I'm using this one from Craft Emotions. It's from a German shop. I don't know if you can get it somewhere else. I will link the German shop below. This is metallic gold. But again, you can use acrylic paint or watercolor or metallic markers or anything like that if you want to achieve this look. So this one I'm leaving as it is, and I will use that in some way in my journal. I will figure that out once I have my journal. And I want to use this one to make a bigger collage, which I'm going to put on a book page. And interestingly, it was the first book page I grabbed. I believe this is, I actually don't know what language this is. Some Nordic language, I would say. And it seems to be from a book about playing cards. So how cool. That was really pure coincidence. So I'm going to put this here. And I will probably tear down the page a little later, but it's a good base. And then I just want to add a few more things in the background. This, for example, is a paper towel that I have used the past couple of days to soak up my watercolors and my distress oxides. And this has dried in the meantime, and I think this could add some really fun accents actually. Never done that before, but I always see Luise doing these things and she inspires me so much. So thank you, Luise, in case I haven't said it in a while. Your inspiration is absolutely amazing. I hope you've read all the amazing comments that viewers have written under the last 5 items, not 5 items, 5 artists, 1 folio challenge. So if you ever have a bad day, please go read those comments. I think they will make you feel better instantly. I also have this here, which is from some packaging, and I think it has a super fun texture and shape. It obviously needs a bit of gold on it. Now, come on, how cool does this look, honestly? Don't like this white spot, but I can add some more coffee on top of that. Yeah, I think it needs a bit more. Then I could add some of this. I use this as a protection for my surface. Crumple it up a bit. This is just becoming a bit bulky now. So this would actually probably also be a really nice cover piece. But I already have one, so I don't know what I'm gonna do. And another thing I wanted to add, I don't know if I'll find some space. I have these pieces here. Maybe you recognize what they are. They are from book spines. So we can use every part of a book. And I think they're absolutely fabulous for collaging. How cool are these? So I don't know if I can make a piece work, but yeah, a little piece should definitely work. Yes, I like it. All of these here are the headbands that you would have on the top and the bottom of the spine of the old books. I love keeping these. Yeah, maybe like this. I think this definitely requires a glue gun because of all these dimensional elements. So I'm going to attempt to not burn myself too much. We'll see how that goes. I managed to glue everything on successfully, and now I'm going to tear around this. And then I'm going to add some more coffee to the book page. And also on this paper towel to get rid of that white part. Maybe I'll also put some here. This is quite white. So everything is dry now. And I think as a last step, what I want to try is to add a little bit more distress oxide. This is my rusty hinge. Just kind of adding a little bit more. Oh, this came off. Okay, so I need to re-glue that. I already turned my glue gun off, so I will just use my 3-in-1 glue. So I just want to kind of rub this. This color is so amazing. It really looks like rust. Oh, looks really cool here. I love that. And let's do that with the peacock feathers as well. Oh, this is so strong. Have to be a little careful with this one. I'd say that's a wrap for today. Super happy with how grungy this is. I know it's not for everyone. And then this is such a cute little card as well. I cannot wait to start my journal with all these beautiful elements. Thank you for hanging out with me once more. Hope to see you back here tomorrow. Don't forget to check out all the playlists below with all the other artists, with Luise, and anything else you can find. Love you guys.